Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Speak on It Comics, where we discuss any and all topics in the wonderful world of comics. My name is Charles, and we have a very special event we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about the incredible world of Radiant Black from Image Comics. And before we even get started, I got to introduce this very radiant tan gentleman to the left of me or to the right of me, depending on where you guys are watching. Um, Jarrell, how you doing, sir?
Good, good. How are you? If you're curious about my Radiant 10 origins, let's just say I was just in the beach. I was on the beach and I was enjoying myself at night in Miami, and suddenly this object I see in the sky comes at me, and it's
Mhm.
tan. And I'm like, what the
Mm.
heck is that? It's the same color as the sand. And all of a sudden, boom, here I am,
Mhm.
baby. Here I am.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you see you here, and I'm glad you here to hang out with me today, bro. Thank you so much. So, so definitely we wanted to get into this, just to get people up on what this particular story is about, and the reason why we did this particular story is because this is one of the ones I fell in love with this story from jump. I knew Kyle Higgins was a he did some work with Marvel. He did Dark Hawk, which was incredible if you guys haven't read it, and he also did the Power Rangers, which was also equally amazing. And you don't even have to be a Power Rangers fan in order to enjoy it. So that's the great thing about it. Kyle Higgins is very good at telling humanistic stories with superpowered characters. So um, definitely a must reads. But this particular story was interesting. Um, I told Jarrell about it. How long ago did I tell you about this one, Jarrell? How long ago was this?
I would say maybe a few months ago.
Okay.
And I said, I better check this out. I better get on top of this, because,
Mm-hmm.
you give, the greatest suggestions. So I checked this out, and sure enough, man, I really love this book.
Yeah, yeah. No, I kind of figured it would be something that you would resonate with, because of the type of character it is and what he's trying to do
Yeah.
for himself in his life, in his career. Um, so I definitely, if you guys are a fan of superheroes, mysteries, complexities of everyday life, which we all go through, then this is a series for you guys. So we're gonna get things started. I'm just gonna give you just a little quick overview about Radiant and what it's about. It's the story of Nathan Burnett, and he's struggling writer, and he finds himself grappling with some challenges, which we all go through. We all have our passion that we hope that we can fulfill. And unfortunately, he's had some setbacks. So I'm going to start off with some questions to you, my friend, because I have to get firsthand what you thought about this story. Um, and we're not going to give any spoilers, guys. We're not going to tell the money shots here. We're going to just give you just some intricate details of it. This way, you guys can get the premise. Okay. So, question: what initially drew you to Radiant Black, and how does it stand out in the crowded world of superhero comics to you?
I can definitely relate to the first page. Once you open it, it's like, bam, wow, that was like me, the other week. you I totally understand and feel what it's like to see that in the bank account,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's very open, it doesn't beat around the bush. It's not walking on eggshells. It's telling
Mm-hmm.
the reality of this character, Nathan, and what it is to be a struggling writer, what it is to have writer's block, what it is to be in debt. And you wish that everything could be reversed. You have to move back to your old hometown, to
Mm-hmm.
make up for the rough road along the way. And sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
need to do that in life. Sometimes you need to backpedal a bit to get where you really need to go. And
Yeah.
that's what I really love about that story to begin with. And then when things start to get uh, really, you know, science fictional, when he gets that, the cosmic radiant, and things change.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed how he has a great best friend. I think Marshall was so supportive, and he's I just love that dynamic between the two. They really communicate like best friends, and I think that's how best friends should be. Always supportive, always got each other's
I
backs,
agree.
and willing to
Yeah,
take the sacrifices for each other. That's badass. That's how friendships should be.
should be.
And
Yeah.
and I like the dynamic between Nathan and his family, his parents, and you could
Hmm.
totally relate to them. That's exactly what my father would tell me. If I moved back. All right. Do you have any jobs coming? What's going on? What's going on
Yeah.
with the writing? Any
Yeah.
publishing? Any word from the agent? And my
Right.
mom would also be supportive, but she'll probably be asking the same thing. I don't think I have much leeway. Probably crash at your house, Charles. Sorry.
You always welcome. You know that. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I think that the great thing about what Kyle was able to do with these characters is that you're able to relate to them right away. So it's interesting that you said the way that it opens up with him, showing his bank account. You could tell this guy is in like serious debt. This is not like, just a few thousand. This is a huge amount of debt that he has. And it's interesting that he, obviously he feels a certain kind of way because this is something that he loves to do, and he said he has this agent that's supposedly supposed to help him out, but I kind of feel like, the cards are kind of stacked against him in a way. And he has writer's block, right? He has writer's block. That's another thing. Um, and I think sometimes when you go through that, what you go through that type of, when you're trying to be creative, you try to find inspiration, right? You try to find it somewhere, So going back home, it made sense. It made sense for his situation. I like how you brought in Marshall. Marshall is a very interesting character because he's a wise ass. He's one of those friends that's like, come on, man, like, what are you gonna do? Like, he's one of those straightforward individuals. Like, he's gonna tell you straight up. He's raw. He's gonna say, hey, listen, like, come on, what are we doing here? He's one of those type of guys. And I like that, like you said, the dynamic between the two, because you could tell that they've been long-term friends since childhood. You can kind of, tell that dynamic between the two. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Um, Now, Kyle Higgins, have you ever read or have you ever heard of, his work, or is this your first time reading his work here?
This is my first time, and I'd love to dive into more of Kyle Higgins' work. I have watched him in a podcast with Scott Snyder for Scott Snyder's Substack courses, where he featured
Mhm.
Kyle Higgins to discuss editing, and that was an excellent course. And I really enjoyed that. So good that I had to
Mhm.
watch it twice, and I may even watch it again. And that's the most that I got from Kyle besides reading Radiant Black. But Kyle definitely convinced me, hey, read more of my stuff. So I'll definitely be checking that out and definitely continuing the series of Radiant Black because I really enjoyed the first volume. It grew on me very quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Now, I want to get into the art. I want to get into the art style. Marcelo Acosta is the artist. And I have to say, the visuals are amazing. Amazing. As you can see in the background, you can see the different color schemes in the back here. Um, no radiant is understatement. There is every color, and it blends well. It's interesting that you can put every color in one shot and it blends. It just comes together. What did you think about the art style? What do you think about the visuals in the story, where they placed it? You know what I mean? Like, what did you think about it, Jerome?
Charles, I must say, if Marcelo Costa's taking a look at this video right now, I must say that his visuals is excellent. I love each page that he's done. It's flawless. I love the way he shows the expression of the characters. It's clear. The colors is nice. When he comes back to his hometown, you see that it's like dreary, snowy. I mean, yet it's beautiful, but it brings in that mood, that tone of, yeah, I'm coming back, you know. And the
Mhm.
way it's kind of like a faded, kind of gloomy like colors, it kind of shows that tone and mood that, you know, he's going back to the past. You know, it brings
Right,
that weight,
right.
that heaviness to it. Things get a little, you know, brighter when he goes to like a bar, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And
Yeah.
the I also love the panel layouts. It's perfect. And not too much, not too little. It's just the right amount of ingredients to the recipe. The I love the splash pages and how it's so action packed, and it shows striking
Mm-hmm.
images of these streaks of light, you know,
Yes.
and these red beams coming everywhere. The fighting scenes also very unique. It's not
Mm-hmm.
boring. Um, and I love when the action picks up, and it's just so good the way it's done. I have nothing but good things to say about it visually. Oh, and the double page spread is like amazing. It just it's very
Yeah.
good. To me,
Yeah.
it's the definitive visuals of I'd say mainstream comics to me, and
I
independent comics.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's very cinematic, especially the scenes. Like you said, they pay it's like pay attention to it's almost like you have to pay attention to the detail, but they make you pay attention to detail because of the way it's shot. And I feel like you said, then it shows the bank account, when it shows him first getting his powers, it's done very subtly and cinematically, in my opinion. um so I love the way they create that. And even times when he's just waking up, or times when he's just having his regular day with his family life, they make sure to have you sit with it. It's not like one of those things where you have them sit, have this conversation with the family, then it goes to something else. It's like you sit with the relationship between him and his mom and him and his dad, which I really thought was really really cool. Um so yeah, so as far as like, we have this protagonist, right, in Radiant Black. It's a red character, red, almost the same suit as he that Nathan has. Um, so even though he's dealing with these real life struggles, now he has this superhero part to his world. Now he has to also deal with. How do you think that those struggles between personal life, and I mean, it's no different than having our personal life and business life, or having our personal life and you know whatever things that you're doing outside of just being a dad or being a mom or whatever the case would be. So what did you think about the protagonist, and think about that, the introduction to this protagonist? And there's a big twist to this too, just so you guys know when you start reading. But what do you think about the protagonist of this story? The
I
antagonist, I'm sorry, the antagonist of this story.
The antagonist. I find the antagonist to be very interesting. Uh, for one, it's really scary how you think you live in this ordinary life, being down in the dumps, but then something extraordinary happens. But at the same
Hmm.
time, these things like these powers, they're not granted to you. It kind of came
Hmm.
to you by mistake. So there's
Yeah.
somebody to collect it, and they're going to destroy you and the world. So are you willing to take that sacrifice? So that's a scary thing. That's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't ask for this. I just want to be an established writer. I didn't want,
Hmm.
this powers to come get me. I mean, this
Yeah.
all great and all to be flying and doing all these things, amazing things, shooting out beams and stuff. But hey, I got to sacrifice my life now, not only for myself, but for my family and the whole planet. So that's a spooky thing. And I thought that it was so chilling when you had that entity, speak to him and say, speak to him in the same type of language and the same sentences. It just shows how their logic is, how they think and how they process
Yes.
things. It's not humane. It is
Mm-hmm.
it is very primitive in a way, but at the same
Mm.
time, they're not that primitive. They're pretty much advanced.
They're
But
very advanced. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and their outlook on life is just very straightforward, very black and white. There's no, they're very rigid. There's nothing else that can, break that type of rule that they have and what they stand by. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty difficult thing to encounter in this story, in the life of the protagonist. So I think that the antagonist was pretty much intimidating. I can't
Yeah.
imagine being faced with something like that. That's a humongous responsibility.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the reveal of the antagonist is not necessarily, it comes later in the stories. You know, as you guys read, you'll understand that person's motivation as well. You know what I mean? So there's some reveal there, just so you guys know. I don't want to give you guys away because I want you guys to discover this new, just like I did, and definitely want you guys to comment and, you know, down below, let me know what you guys thought, or what you guys thought about the reveal, or did you guys see it coming, did you not see it coming, all those type of things. So, but yeah, definitely. I mean, the concept too, because I think they call it the black crystal. Is that what it is? It's the that
I
gives
think they
them the
call it the
powers.
cosmic radiant.
Cosmic radiant, something like that. Oh, you know what? You know what was funny? I speaking of which, um, I like when they were coming up with the title for him.
Yeah.
That was such a dig in comics right there. When they
Uh-huh.
come up with the title, and it's like, okay, so, and he's like, oh, I need something. And oh, Radiant. Okay. And then he's like, goes to Marshall. He's like, yeah. He said, what's I call? He said, you know what? You should be Radiant. And he says, black, and it's like, oh, what about switching it around to Black Radiant? It's like, oh, that's like every other 70s
Yeah.
comic character. It was
Black
so funny the
Goliath,
way that,
Black Panther, Black Lantern.
it's like, okay, so that was a nice, cool, kind of like little dig into comics and the way they thought about characters of color. But I did really like the story. I like the journey of, and there's a few things that do come about that I really don't want to get into because I want you
Yeah,
guys to
yeah.
to learn for yourselves. But there's a lot of surprises.
There's a lot that I want to say. Yeah, there is.
There's a lot. There's a lot of surprises, and the universe has grown. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, now they have radiant pink, they have radiant red, they have radiant pink, um, they have radiant yellow. They have all these different spectrums, of characters, that kind of have these abilities, and it's interesting because I mean I feel like these stories are really something that's going to just expand and just continue to just grow this whole universe in a way. And the way he's doing it, I think he's doing a great job. And I don't know if Kyle Higgins is doing all of the books, that I'm not certain, but I know that the universe has definitely expanded uh, outside of Radiant Black. So, but just to give a last, for our listeners and people that are tuning in, who might be new to this character, Radiant Black, or just new to comics. I mean, maybe there's somebody that's just getting into comics, or there's some people that left it and came back. And, what would you like to encourage them as far as picking up this series?
Oh, I think they should definitely start off with the first volume. Check it out. If you're going back into comics, Radiant Black is like it sets the new, I think, stage for superhero stories. Um, by the most part, it breaks away from the typical cliche of superhero stories. It's much different. Uh, it's much more violent than your typical story. It is inspired by Power Rangers, but I think they
Hmm.
do take the violence to the next level. It doesn't, well, so far I don't see like invincible level violence, but it's still a type of violence where it's like, oh wow, they really took it there.
Hmm.
The characters are really enraged at this point. I also wanted to talk about Satomi,
Okay.
Radiant Red. Oh man, I think the way uh, I don't want to go into details because I don't want to give it away, but the way uh, the character is introduced,
Yeah.
first you're like, man, this Radiant Red is a bastard, and I didn't even want to give that away about Radiant Red because that's a surprise it's in
It
itself.
is.
And once you
It
find
is.
out the origin story behind Radiant Red, it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I could totally understand that type of scenario that character is in because
Hmm.
even I personally experienced it. I think at one point I was, I don't want to give too much away, but I was the partner, I was the spouse at one point,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
the one bringing the problems to the door. So I could
Hmm.
really relate to that. Um, so it was just such a good build up to the characters. And I like how Kyle doesn't introduce everything right away. He gives that to you in small packages,
Right.
and he really revealed a lot at the end as far as Radiant Red goes. And I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to admit that at all. But I don't want to get that
No,
away.
but
So
still,
I'm gonna cut that short. But it's just excellent. You guys definitely need to check out this book because I don't want to give away any of the surprises.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I definitely think you guys definitely should pick this one. This one is definitely a gem. It's one of my favorite reads, and I have a lot of great reads. I mean, obviously, I've always letting Jarrell know, and we kind of go back and forth about certain things that we read and certain things that really, that really captured our interest. It was like, wow, this is fantastic. So this one, I feel for lovers of many genres, whether it's superheroes, Power Rangers, Voltron, uh, you know, um, any, if it's a humanistic story, it has that. It has friendships. It has, loyalty. It has everything. It has a lot of themes to it, and I think that like you said, like you mentioned, Kyle Higgins takes the time for you to really feel for these characters. It's not just a punch gut and we move on. He makes sure that you really feel the punches when it happens. So hats off, for this one. Definitely a great one. So I just want to give. We're gonna definitely, whether you're a seasoned comic book reader, trying to dip your toes into the superhero world, Radiant Black offers a great, I would say, relatable journey. I would say something that's fun, something that's enjoyable, something that's intense. It adds all of that, so that'll wrap up another episode of Speak On in Comics. And I'd like to thank you, Jarrell, again for coming and hanging out and
Thank you.
and sharing your thoughts. I really appreciate it, brother. And
Thank you.
so
It
and
was a
hey,
pleasure.
got anything coming? You got anything coming up? Anything that you're working on, or anything that's happening that you want to share?
Well, I'm definitely going to um, correlate this into my Substack article. I'll write a
Mm-hmm.
review for Radiant Black and my experience with the book and what I thought about it. I will have to give spoilers away though, because if I don't say much, then what kind of article will it be? So I have to
Right.
reveal that one. So after you guys check out this video, read the book, then read the Substack
Then
article, and
read the right,
yeah.
right,
So we're going
right.
to streamline it that way. So and also I'm working on my graphic novel, comedy graphic novel that's in the works. I'm almost there,
Sweet.
but just like Nathan, I'm struggling, I'm in that writer's block and trying to get out of it. So this book really helped me get through it though. There's a point in the story where uh he's being spoken to, and they tell him like, just there's no convenient time to, write, just do it now. You got to sacrifice, get out of the bed and start writing and do it. And he was absolutely right. And sure enough, there were plenty of times when I did that. I told myself, oh, I got to do it at a convenient time. I can't be, too sleepy. I can't be, if I feel sick, I can't do it. All kinds of excuses. No, you got to do it now. Because if you don't, it's not going to get done. It's going to be another day of, oh, I got to get it done. So get to writing, Jarrell. I'm talking to you right now in this video.
You heard it from Radiant Tan, guys.
Radiant
You
Tan,
heard it here.
in the sun.
Radiant Tan.
On the beach in the sun. and that goes for everything. Everybody has goals that they need to accomplish. It's not about, procrastinating. I mean, it is a common thing to procrastinate, but you need to get it done. And not just in writing, but any goals that you have and whatever you want to pursue.
I appreciate it. No, definitely. I think everybody can get a good takeaway from that, because I think we all get in, things get in our way. Life gets in the way. I understand. But we just got to stay the course, just got to keep moving forward. 2 steps, 10 steps, 20 steps, whatever, as long as it's forward, you feel accomplished, so you're that much more quicker, that much closer to your goals. So, definitely well said. Well said, Radiant Tan. I'm looking forward to, reading your article, when it drops. I mean, definitely. And I'll put that in the link and everything. And I'll definitely put the links down below for you guys to, get Radiant Tan. I'm sorry, Radiant Black. I'm Radiant Tan. Radiant Black. That book's not going to come. Well, you never know what Kyle Higgins might do. Radiant Tan might come. But Radiant Black and some of the other books that are out there that that's also with this shared universe. So definitely something to pick up, guys. All right. Until next time.
Oh yeah.
Keep reading, guys. Keep exploring, and keep turning those pages. All right. And don't forget to speak on it. And bye-bye for now.
Take care, guys, and definitely check out more of Charles' work.